Good afternoon. Kathy Beatty here with Divorce Support Anonymous. Thank you for joining me on day 16 of How to Have a Breakthrough Christmas. So this has really been a walk of faith for me because I really wasn't sure. I had not cemented exactly what I was going to do for all 30 days, 31 days. But I believed that the premise was something that God would bless, that if I wanted to extend some hope and some kindness and connection with you, and I would honor God in the process, then it would all turn out good. So far, I hope for you that it has been good. I hope that these few moments together help you have a breakthrough, chip away at that breakthrough. And of course, first we have to envision, where do I need the breakthrough? What does my breakthrough look like? Is it physical? Is it emotional, financial, spiritual, relational? What is that breakthrough? And today we do want to chip away at that a little bit. I tried to find words that we hear in the Christmas season, but we're really not hearing in the Christmas season. And one of those words would be joy. We may be hearing it around us, but because of our circumstances and the difficulty of this year, we may not be connecting with that or experiencing that joy. So I want to talk about joy today. I want to talk about what it is. How do you find it? So if you think about, where do you find joy? And when I say joy, I mean more than just exhilaration, happiness. I mean a contentment, a wholeness of my heart that is not dependent upon my surroundings to find. So where do you find joy? Do you find joy when things go right? Boy, no wonder we can't find joy right now. Because if our joy is dependent on when things go right, we're up a creek without a paddle, because things always seem in our broken world and broken relationships not to go right, not to go smooth. So if that's where we're finding our joy, we're in a little bit of trouble. What about we find our joy when people do what we expect? If people would just do what I expect, I think they should do, then I would have joy. I wish the world would cooperate with that. I really do, don't you? It's like, people, if you just cooperate, I could have joy here. Or maybe we think we'll find our joy when we become perfect. When we lose that 10 pounds, when we find that next relationship, please don't. When our environment changes, when we have more money, then we're going to find joy. I have a destination syndrome, as a friend of mine likes to say, because we're always thinking our joy and our wholeness is going to be found out there someday, somewhere. And people go through a lot of time and trouble searching for joy, their fullness and contentment of joy, in all the wrong places. Thanks, Stephanie. Glad to have you with us today. So we can look for joy in all the wrong places. It's like we can look for love in all the wrong places, as the song goes, right? So people are not going to do what we expect. Life is not going to be perfect. We are not going to be perfect. And especially now, today, we have to have compassion on ourselves for what we're going through, the trauma that we're going through. Have compassion and realize we're never going to be perfect. I've got a birthday coming up this week, and I've been working since day one to find that perfection. Well, actually, not perfection, but excellence. And it's a pursuit. It's a destination that, quite frankly, I'm never going to get to, but I'm going to be better, and I'm going to chip away at all those areas where I need breakthrough so I can have a more joyful life, a life of of contentment, a life of fullness that's not dependent on other people or circumstances to take place. So maybe, just maybe, our breakthrough is going to come when we stop looking for our joy in other people, in other places, in other experiences, and in demanding perfection of ourselves. Is that possible that we can start that? It takes some real consciousness, doesn't it? To be aware of that. Well, I'm disappointed. I'm not having joy. Why? Over things that I can't control? That makes no sense. You'll never have joy. You'll never find it. And yet, of course, the true contentment, peace, and joy that we're going to find comes in knowing God and the true meaning of Christmas. That Jesus, God, pursues you, searches for you, and has within his hand pleasures forevermore. This verse that I'm about to show you is one that's really near and dear to me, because when I had property, I had 8 acres and woods, I created these little signs and I put throughout the trail of the woods with the trillium and the jack in the pulpit and all these glorious wildflowers, verses about paths, because there were paths through my woods. And this was one that really gave me joy. It says, "You have made known to me the path of life. In your presence, there is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore." And that, I didn't put the scripture on there. It's Psalms 16, no, Psalms 30:15 is where that is. You make known to me the path of life. That's what God longs to do this Christmas, this period of time in your life, to draw near to you, to give you the path of life of what matters. In your presence, there is fullness of joy. And at your right hand, at his right hand, are pleasures forevermore. So I don't know what your concept of God is, but I'm thrilled to know that God holds pleasures. And I've seen them in my life over the past 22 years. Delightful, surprising pleasures that God has given to me through my relationship with him. And then another one, until now, you've asked nothing in my name. This is what Jesus says. You've asked nothing in my name. Ask. Ask and you will receive, that your joy may be full. Joy. It's possible even now, regardless of all the circumstances and all the disappointment that you have faced from people. Joy is possible this Christmas season.